Greetings and salutations, humans. Welcome to the channel. Today, we are going to be doing a champion spotlight on a duo that is very, very effective and very good at what they do. And the champions we're going to be talking about, and it's really because of y'all. I had a couple of folks who asked me to do a champion spotlight with Kantra the Cyclone and Thylessia, the new Force defense down champion that I've done a couple of videos on, and explain how exactly they work so well together. Today is that video, so I thank y'all for being patient, and let's get right on over into it. What we'll do is that we'll start with Kantra first. First and foremost, I want y'all to realize that both Kantra and Thylessia are Force-based champions. So on Spirit Waves, or on Spirit Bosses, while you can use Kantra, Thylessia is not going to work so well. So they're going to do best with Force-based champions, Force-based waves. Of course, Magic, where they're going to be strong. Void, they also work well, but you need to have a little bit more control, because some of your Void waves, they are able to ignore shields and block revive, which is quite annoying, but they are able to do it, and I will show y'all how that works today. First, let me kind of go over Kantra's stats here real quick. Y'all can see that she is in a stun set. Let me go over her total stats real quick. Normally I have her in a hit point banner, but because I am now running her through Doom Tower hard, I need to have that higher accuracy, so I do currently have her in an accuracy banner. Her health is 41,000. Her defense is 4,267. Her speed is 203. And for masteries, I do have her going down to Fearsome Presence. One thing I do want to go ahead and point out now in this video, I am really considering swapping Kantra out into a different set, and the set that I'm thinking about switching her out to, let's have so much. I need to go on a selling spree. I'm really thinking about putting her into a perception step. That way she'll get bonus accuracy as well as speed, because the way that Kantra's passive works, if an enemy is under 5 or more debuffs at the start of her turn, she has a 75% chance of placing a provoke on the enemy. And so, bear that in mind. I am thinking about respecking her. If I do that, if I do end up rebuilding Kantra, I will make a video and I will explain what exactly it is I've done. But for right now, for the purposes of this video and for this showcase, I am using her here in my traditional build. And I do have her going down to the Fearsome Presence in the defense tree to get the extra 5% chance of landing a stun from a stun set. I've also ran Kantra in a provoke set before I got Visix to help with the Magma Dragon. With Thylessia, I do also have her running in a stun set, and between the two of them, I'm typically able to lay on some stuns. I'm not going to go in and do a in-depth deep dive again on Thylessia's kit because I've already got 2 videos on her. I will go ahead and touch on Kantra again quickly and briefly, and then we'll be going into content. This is to go into her skills. She has a accuracy in all battles aura by 60. Her passive is unique. Decrease each enemy's accuracy by 10 for each debuff they are under. This champion will receive 4% less damage for each debuff on the attacker. Heals this champion by 1,250 hit points each time a debuff expires on an enemy. Has a 75% chance of placing the provoke on one turn for enemies under 5 or more debuffs at the start of this champion's turn. This champion can place debuffs on weak hits. She's the only champion in the game that can do that. Her A2 is a 3-hitter, and each hit has a chance of placing one of these following debuffs. Block buffs, decrease attack, decrease speed, weaken, decrease accuracy or heal reduction, and that is bookable up to 50, 60, 70, so 75% chance on a 3-hitter of landing those debuffs on each hit. And then her A1 has a 60% chance on each hit of stealing a buff. For those of you who have been following my channel for a while, y'all know I do not have an AoE buff stripper. I don't have a Madame Ceres, I don't have a Thylessia, I don't have a Kymar, I don't have a champion that's able to just remove the enemy's buffs. So whenever I'm making my way through Doom Tower hard, a lot of the times the only way I'm able to progress is if I completely lock out the enemy. They cannot get a turn. And that's why Thylessia and Kantra work so well together. If I get them going with enough debuffs and enough speed, I'm able to provoke the entire wave. Kantra ends up taking the whole thing, and it works out great. So without further ado, let's just jump over into Doom Tower. We'll do a couple of waves here real quick. Oops, that's not normal. Let's jump over to hard. So I've just started to climb on hard. Let's see what this wave is. So here's a good example. So we have got 2 Void champions. We've got Faceless, and what's annoying about him is that he can ignore shields and block damage as well as defense. So he hits hard. Thankfully, he can't block revive. So the team we're going with here, we are going for maximum control. We've got Kantra in the lead. I am running Harvest Jack. He's going to give us some fears. What's really nice, the biggest reason why I've got him going here is that against these Romeros, he puts up continuous heal buffs. Harvest Jack will turn those into poisons. Let's redo this just a little bit. Let's go in with Blind Seer. That way we got a res. We'll go in with Thylessia, so that way we have the defense down. Where did you go? There you are. And then what we're going to do, we will go in with, I guess, Aothar. That way we're getting poisons. I'm looking for debuffs to stack, folks. That's what I'm doing. I'm looking for debuffs to spread and then to extend to get those provokes off. And this team should be pretty effective, I would think. If you don't have a Harvest Jack, then what you would do in this situation, you just go with whatever kind of control champion is that you have. Just some way just to try to lock them down. But the name of the game with Kantra is debuffs. She scales off the debuffs. So the more debuffs you're able to get, the more effective she's going to be. Let's get to it. And there we go. Y'all saw how it worked. Y'all saw Kantra was in there. She was stealing the buffs. Y'all saw the provokes going off. Y'all saw Thylessia spreading the debuffs that were going on. You saw the fears that Harvest Jack was bringing in. If you have Harvest Jack, don't think that he's only good for the arena. That is not true. If you pair him with a team that scales off of debuffs, he's a force multiplier. He works very similar to Kantra. whereas she goes in and then she lands these nasty debuffs. She lands the weakens and the attack down and the decreased speed. Harvest Jack is able to turn continuous heals into poisons. That's, of course, is a debuff. That feeds into Contra with the provoke. These champions work very, very well together. If you don't have an Aothar, if you have a Taurus, that's even better. He actually will do a better job than what Aothar is doing, because he's able to put 4 poisons on everybody. Then all you need is one more debuff and Contra's in business. Let's move on and see what is next. Let's see here. So we got a couple of Spirit Affinity mobs here. Let's take Aothar out. And what we will do... we'll go with an Allure. And this will be the last Doom Tower run that we do, and then we're going to do a traditional dungeon or two, and then we're going to move on. I just want to give you all an idea about how well their kits synergize, they being Kantra and Thylessia. The fact that Thylessia is able to extend those debuffs just feeds into Contra's passive. There we have it. And as y'all know, the thing about Doom Tower, it's all about control. And that's what Kantra brings, is that control with her passive. Thylessia just feeds into that. She also had some help with Harvest Jack, placing those spears. In that last run in particular, we had Allure in there with her turn meter control. That's what it's all about. And let's just say, for example, if an enemy was one of those really annoying ones. Like say it's a Paragon that has an unkillable buff, that's not a problem. Contra can just steal it. It's not an issue. Now what we will do is that we will jump over into a couple of dungeons. We'll just do a couple of dragon runs real quick, just for grins and giggles. So what we're going to do is that we're going to go into Dragon 23. Let me show you all the team that we got put together here. We've got Kantra in the lead. We've got Ninja for his DPS and his freeze. We've got Skyle the Drakes for her passive heal as well as for her stuns. We've got Aothar for poison, and we have got Thylessia, of course, for our defense down. In this case, I think I'm actually going to take Aothar out. And let's replace him with Padma. Some of these mobs, they hit pretty hard and they block revive, so the attack down will be handy. And there we have it with a pretty free-to-play team. We got Sky the Drakes, who is a daily login reward. We got Ninja, who up until a couple of days ago was free to everybody, just as a thank you for playing the game. We've got Thylessia, who was a part of a fusion that just finished. Kantra is the other legendary on the team. She was actually the first legendary that I ever got, and I got her through the fusion that happened last year. And then, of course, we've got Padma, who is a Void Epic. If you don't have Padma, that's perfectly fine. Run someone else with an attack down. Tyrell would actually work really well, too. Even though having 2 defense downs can be redundant, whenever you have a team that scales off of debuffs, that's never a bad thing. Plus, Tyrell brings turn meter control. Plus, he brings a sleep. And, frankly, he hits freaking hard, so that always helps. Let's take a look and see what we got. Crap. Goodbye. And then lastly, we'll just go ahead and end this off in Dragon 25. I think that I am making the point here that Thylessia and Kantra just go hand in hand together. We'll go with Aothar here for poisons. He will be our win condition against the dragon. And let's get on with it. And there we go. I mean, it's pretty simple, truly. I mean, whenever you're dealing with a champion like Kantra or like Faceless or someone else that scales off of debuffs, anytime that you're able to extend the duration of the debuffs that are there, especially with a champion that's bringing a defense down, which is probably the strongest, most important debuff that there is in the game, it's a no-brainer to run those two together. I hope this video was of some help to you. Like I said, if I do end up rebuilding my Kantra and put her into a perception set, I will make an updated re-gearing video and I will show y'all how that has gone. I'm undecided, but that is the way that I'm leaning towards at this point. And unless my mind changes in the next couple of days, that's exactly what's going to end up happening, because the more speed I can get Kantra, just the more efficient she's going to be with capturing those provokes. Well, I hope that this video was helpful to some of y'all. I hope that y'all enjoyed it. I tried to go through and be as diverse with the content in this video as possible, showing a couple of runs in Dragon, showing a couple of runs in Doom Tower. If you have these two, feel free to run them anywhere. Run them in Ice Golem. Run them in Fire Knight. My first video that I had about Thylessia that I uploaded a couple of days ago, I had them running in Fire Knight. Long and short is, if you have both these champions, you have got a masterful team based around control. Build a team around them. Get your debuffs. Get your hit point burns. Get your poisons. Get your fears, get your other controlling debuffs in, and then just watch the carnage ensue. Yeah, that will be it for this video. Thank y'all very much. If you enjoyed the video, if you would throw a thumbs up, that means a whole lot. It just helps the algorithm of YouTube just help more people find the channel. Talk to y'all later. Have a good one. Bye bye.